Morning. Lynn, what am I saving you from? It's a burger at your door? What? Why does this chat always turn into people spamming hooch? Or, I guess now, burgers. Thank you for the subscription, A-Scene. I see that. How are you fellers doing today? Don't talk about octoplasm. Let me look over my notes real quick. Oh, I don't have them listed down here. Perfect. Who? 190 some odd teams. You think I'm going to talk about every single one today? Could. I do have notes about every single team. Might not be good notes. Falco, I did not realize you played in low ink until just now. How was it? Did you have a good time? I had to look back over the rosters. I was like, wait, what? You only played 3 sets. Okay. Lost touch. There's over 1,000 players here. I think I'm allowed to forget at least 10% of them. That's why I got this database I can go back and look. Oh yeah, Falco did play in this tournament. What did our notes say about Falco? Should consider banning. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe next time. Shout out to our verification staff. They kicked some butt this weekend. Or last week. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, or Spotify, while you're asking hypothetical questions in Help Desk, threatening to eat a spicy gummy bear if you qualify for the Sunday bracket of Low Ink, using and losing with Hydra Splatling an attorney because you got 100 gift subs. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. I have a bone to pick with Moonlight, or I guess Max Light as they went by in the Mode Cup tournament. Hydra Splatling is a not good weapon. I would know. I am one of the best Hydra Splatling players on planet Earth. Don't at me. But the fact that they used Hydra Splatling, Omega using it instead of like Basil for some reason, and losing in round 1 of a single elimination tournament is unacceptable, inexcusable, and Hydra deserves better. So I would challenge Moonlight. Do it again. I would say this: do not stop using Hydra Splatling until you get a win with it. Why stop after just 1 L? What does that prove? It proves nothing. It proves that you need to work on hiding behind walls and coming out. I didn't get to see the anchor like a VOD or anything, or find a way to like critique Omega's Hydra playstyle. But come on, if I can get top 5 of Low Tide City using pretty much nothing but Hydra Splatling, I'm pretty sure a team made up of players from Moonlight can win 1 damn match with it. Come on now. I guess it was zones only. Zones, yeah, whatever. News of tournaments may be of interest of the casual listener of the podcast. Genesis X registration closes today. I don't know at what time specifically it closes, or if it's already closed by the time you're listening to this. But registration is closing today. So if you're on the fence about going to Genesis, well, you probably live in the state of California, because you're not going to plan flights and all this stuff at this point in time. But if you want to go ahead and go. Goes to spectator. If you don't have a team, you're going to have just as much fun not playing the video game at the LAN, I promise you. Just going and meeting people is almost as much fun, if not more fun, than actually playing the video game in the tournament. They said spectator passes are $5 more expensive in person, so if you want to go to spectator, make sure you do that now. Also, the main tournaments going on this weekend, the Under Pressure Junior Draft is taking place, I believe, on Saturday. I reached out to Elemental to get some more information about this, because I did want to plug it, and if my freaking phone would start working here. It is a Under Pressure Chill season 2023. We're in the year 2024, whatever. Junior draft tournament. It is for players A plus rank and under only. So some of you guys in chat should be eligible for this with how you guys play. Teams got announced on Saturday, and the teams are practicing together, I guess, this week for the upcoming event. It's also Elemental wanted to make sure that I mentioned that they are being carried by Thyme and Chorus because they're running the event while Elemental is stuck in bed. Not running the event. So there you go. I guess you can't really sign up for this because they already make teams. I don't know. Watch it. Do something with it. What else are you guys going to do this weekend? Watch the NFL playoffs. They don't play on Saturday. So Under Pressure Junior Draft thingamabob. Make sure to check it out. I know I will. Today we are going to be recapping Low Ink. Duh. The event that you can take... that you could have taken place in last Saturday and last Sunday if you were good enough on Saturday. So we'll be talking about that. But first, just to get this out of the way at the very start, I kind of alluded to this when I signed off the stream yesterday during the commentary block. I was just personally annoyed throughout the majority of the weekend. Just not with just how Low Ink went in general, with just the fact that, I didn't spend, I didn't spend as much time with the kid because I had to spend more time doing things with Low Ink than I've wanted to, which is fine. We got to spend some time with him yesterday. Up until like 2 a.m. And of course, we did Proving Grounds on Friday, so it's just starting to sink in. It's like, okay, maybe I'm starting to do a little bit too much all at once, but we got a nice long break of TOing and stuff like that. But for Low Ink in particular, I just wasn't happy with the things that we can control. For some reason, we're still having issues in round one of not getting teams into the right Swiss groups or put teams in multiple Swiss groups, and it's just been frustrating. The things that we as TOs can control, there's some things that we just haven't been doing a good job of that. So it's just been a frustrating thing. More so frustrated with myself in particular. I'm not like mad at any staff members or anything like that. I feel like we're putting a lot on Brush's kind of book. I kind of make fun of the fact that I am an old school with how I do all of the stuff that I do, and Brush is a very techie person, but I will admit there is a lot of things that I cannot do as far as TOing with Low Ink. Like putting teams into Swiss groups, like closing check-in, and then in 30 minutes taking 190 teams and putting them into 4 groups. That requires a lot of tech expertise that Brush really that we kind of just push off the Brush and be like, hey, we need you to do this, with a bunch of other stuff. So it's every now and then like one thing or two will slip through the cracks, and it doesn't derail the whole tournament, but just from the fact that I've been doing this for about 4 years now as part of Low Ink, like your own personal expectations of what you want to see the tournament be kind of falls short of that, and that can be frustrating. It's I haven't looked at the feedback. I don't even know if we put out the feedback forms, but I don't need to look at it. I already know the things that I'm not happy about with this past month. There's a lot of things that we can't control that happened that I'm not upset about. Like people reporting the score incorrectly, that's on you, not us. We can't just sit around and wait. Did everybody report their score correctly this time around? No. Like we just have to assume that you guys are going to click on the right logo whenever something like that happens. The splash tag stuff. Oh my gosh. I don't know if we're having more people incorrectly enter their splash tags, or if we're just having more people starting to realize that they should like report their opponent for having incorrect splash tags, starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, this is kind of a big deal. We should let a TO know about it. But it's just been an epidemic. I don't know how many teams we disqualified over the course of Saturday and into Sunday somehow for having incorrect splash tags, but it's just flat out unacceptable. It's nothing we can control as TOs. I mean, me and Brush are literally doing a song and dance in the announcement chat once a month, literally pinging people every single day. Hohen is pinging people multiple times per day about the splash tag stuff. And teams that have been playing in our tournament many, many times, like another set of alpha bracket teams, had to be DQ'd because of splash tag stuff. It's just unfathomable how it gets to this point. My biggest gripe with the splash tag stuff is the term rule booking has been distorted by people who don't read the rules. Like the biggest morons in the community have taken this term rule booking and used it as a way to slander the person who pointed out that they're the ones who broke the rules. I can't understand that. And now, look, I'm on record saying this, and I'll continue to say this. When I was a player, I would not report things, even if it broke the rule, if it didn't really affect the outcome of the game. If it was a rule, like if I was playing in SOS back when they had the alias rules, and my opponent was using an alias, I personally would not report that. I'm not saying that is the way it should be. I'm just saying I personally would not care. I would want to know who the opponent is, and that's it. I wouldn't report it because it's not something that affects the game. Splash tags in low ink 150 bazillion% affect the outcome of the game. If somebody changed their splash tags or their splash tags doesn't match the numbers, we don't know who that is. It could be somebody trying to sneak in a Smurf. It could be a player that could be totally eligible for low ink, but we never verified that person. Or it could be something other shady going on there. It's not rule booking your opponent to point out the fact that they're incompetent. That's on them. And if you are somebody who got quote unquote rule booked because your opponent pointed out that your splash tags don't match, and the first thing out of your mouth is to say anything negative, not about yourself, for ignoring everything that we've been trying to beat into your heads about getting splash tags correct, but instead to point the finger at your opponent for just narking on you, sweetheart, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe captaining a Splatoon team is not in the cards for you. There's many other things that you can be good at on planet Earth. Captaining a Splatoon team is definitely not going to be one of them. If you can't even look in the mirrors and say, man, I can't believe I couldn't get 4 numbers correct on a Battlefy registration form. Just something I wanted to point out. Just throwing that out there. Oh. But we just let the term rule booking be completely hijacked by just completely incompetent human beings. Despite how I'm going on this negative rant just to get it out of the way at the start, because despite how annoyed I was with this lowing, there is a reason why I keep coming back to this tournament, which I've been doing for about 4 years now. And I come back month after month. And I remember before I even went live, I was telling Glitch Cactus, I was like, I'm in a bad mood. I'm just going to be straight up. I'm not super psyched to be commentating this block. But as we're going through that set, man, as we start going through it starts to sink in. It's just like, yeah, this is awesome. This tournament is really awesome. Oh boy. That low ink magic reared its ugly head yet again. Red Pacific, as I like to call them, but they are the Red Pacific team, was clearly something else yesterday. And I don't know where that team was last month, but they figured it out yesterday when they completely ripped everybody apart. Everyone else, though, if you take Red Pacific out of the equation, everybody else was really locked in. They were locked in competitive matches, whether they had any business being competitive matches or not. And it was extremely difficult for anybody to win sets yesterday. When I was on Gus's podcast, I want to say it was like back in the fall. It was after PJ was born. I remember when I came on and talked to him. One of the things he talked about or brought up with me was the topic of how competitive low ink has become. You know, there's people who will say things like, "Oh, low ink was harder back in my day," or "Low ink has gotten so much easier." And it's like, I don't know. I would argue that the overall skill level across the board has risen just as more and more people have been starting to play the video game competitively. But one of the things that I kind of said on that podcast, that's something Gus tweeted out a couple of days ago, that's something I've been thinking about as we've been going through this tournament, was how I said the best team doesn't always win low ink, but it's more so the team that just survives the gauntlet is the team that wins low ink. And let me kind of clarify what I mean by that, because that is a true statement. I truly do believe that the best individual team isn't always the one that's sitting on the podium at the end there. What I mean is having good skill at the video game isn't enough to win low ink. You can have good skill and win a weekly. You can have really good skill and win any kind of Saturday tournament. Like, skill level alone, as long as you're not playing Hydra Splatling, apparently, can guide you through a single day tournament. A 2-day monthly with 1,000+ players in it, with 3 different formats that you have to fight your way through, one of them being the final stage being a single elimination bracket to conclude all of it, is extremely difficult to get through. Yes, you have to be skilled at the video game to win low ink. That is a given. No chumps have ever won low ink. That is a fact. You also have to make sure all your players wake up on time. That is a lot easier said than done. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I can show you the DMs of me DM calling my teammates very early in the morning to try to get them up. You need to make sure you don't have any internet issues. Sometimes that is your fault. Maybe you don't have a LAN connection. Sometimes your internet just goes out. And sometimes Nintendo's thing just craps the bed. In there, it seems like there's RNG to if you get disconnected or not, but those things tend to happen. You need to make sure your mentals are right. And over the course of a long tournament, especially if you're an EU team to where it's getting really late at night, the longer the tournament goes on, keeping your mentals really locked in and sharp is a difficult thing to pull off. You also need to get some good scheduling RNG. Of 191 teams, you're not going to play every single one of them, but some of you are going to get an opponent win percentage that is crazy higher than other people in your same Swiss group, or the same top 32 group, or the bracket that you get put into in the alpha bracket, like the teams that you have to go through. Sometimes it's nice if you don't have to play every single monster, and you can start dodging some of them. But as we saw yesterday, even when you dodge name brand teams, you still get upset in round 1 by a team you've never even heard of. It's really difficult to navigate all of that while keeping your nerves rocked solid. All of that has to line up perfectly for 2 straight days in a row. That is insanely difficult to pull off. It's not just skill level that's required to win a low ink tournament. And that's why I always say waiting until you win low ink before you start playing in open tournaments to try to get banned from it isn't the right way to go about things, because you're going to find it's, yes, the competition is more difficult in open tournaments, but just the grind of going through those open tournaments is nowhere near the level of grind that you have to go through with low ink. I completely understand that. This whole concept of the best team not always winning was put on display in one of the most interesting low ink matches I've seen in a long time. Just Squidding versus Queen Jelly left us. Because if you ask me, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you didn't watch Low Ink yesterday, the clip circulating around of the team going from 0 to 100 in overtime in Clan Blitz, that's the set I'm talking about. Because if you asked me which one of those two teams was better, and you think, oh, it's a game 5, that means both teams were completely locked. They were dead even with each other. No, they weren't. No, they were not. I watched and commentated that entire 5-game set. Queen Jelly was clearly the better skilled team than Just Squidding. I don't think it was even close. But game 1, you got the DC. When it looked like Queen Jelly was going to find a way to win game 1, DC, they lose it. Game 3, forgot to show up on tower control Manta Maria. Wasn't very competitive there. And despite playing great for 5 straight minutes in game 5, Clan Blitz Art Academy had it all fall apart in an epic overtime collapse and comeback from Just Squidding. I even said during the time when it was 80 points remaining for Just Squidding and 1 point remaining for Queen Jelly in as overtime was starting to begin. I even said then, like, unless an act of God basically helps out Just Squidding, they're not going to win this one. And that I said that because it's true. There's absolutely no way Queen Jelly should have lost that set. And just to go on a kind of a tangent as to why I kind of say that, one of the things I'm not a fan of commentators is when they basically just lie to you to create this narrative of something that's not really true. Like, it's almost insulting the intelligence of the audience. I hate it when before a set starts, you'll hear a commentator say something like, oh, these two teams are right with each other, and this set's going all the way to a game 5, guaranteed. And I'm just sitting here watching this like, bruh, these are 2 pickups. This is a weekly tournament. Who gives a damn? That's not what the story is at all. And you see things get hyped up to this point to where when something actual hype happens, you're desensitized to it because the commentators are trying to trick you into thinking everything's going to be a hype thing when it's really not. When Falcon and I were commentating grand finals of Low Tide City this past year, it was Smoothie versus Starburst. And if you wanted to be the hype man route, you'd be like, oh, this is going to be a really good set between these two teams, the top 2 teams of Low Tide City. No, I came on right off the jump and I was like, this is not going to be close. And I'm not trying to like throw a wet blanket on it or anything, but to me, it is discrediting the intelligence of the audience to make them think that game's going to be anything other than a blowout, which it was. And at the same time, it's completely disrespectful to Starburst to discredit them by saying, oh, well, they can't hang with Smoothie. Now, you still try to be positive. You're not going in there bashing everything. And we're trying to come up with like, okay, here's a way maybe Smoothie can try to be competitive with Starburst. Like, there's ways to work around it. But when commentators go on and they just try to trick you into something that's not likely to happen, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So when we're in a situation like this, Queen Jelly's got this monstrous lead. It's game 5. We haven't seen Just Squidding even sniff a power clam near the enemy base, except for that one time where they just accidentally fell in there with a brush. I just called it like it was. This one is most likely over. And I was wrong. It was anything but over. What happened was another iconic moment, an immortalizing moment. And it sucks for Queen Jelly, but those are the kind of moments that we go back and remember, right? We think about ITAP, how Myopsidus got that one play on them. We think about Access Denied, how they didn't get that power clam in time against Lois. We're going to be thinking back about this set, how Just Squidding somehow, like a thief in the night, just stole a match from a team that, in my opinion, outplayed them the entire 5 games. But that's the prime example. The best skill doesn't always win. Just Squidding was better than them at the right moments, the absolute perfect moments when they needed to be, and they moved on. So, just an impressive moment all around. And I'm glad that one individual play happened, because that's a play of the year candidate. I don't want to sit here and say it's going to be the play of the year, because I'm sure it will be topped. We're just in January. But if we're doing the December Popcast Awards for this year, there's no way we're not going to be seeing that clip again, right? I mean, that was a pretty awesome little moment right there, and just sums up for me what Low Ink is all about. Just a giant circus of trying to just keep your head above water. And even when you think you've reached shore, here comes a tsunami of players jumping in with power clams to wash you right back out into the ocean. Low Ink is so much fun to watch. It must be hell to actually play this tournament, though. Then you got Red Pacific. And same thing, before Grands even started on that, I was being like, I don't know if this is going to be incredibly close here. I feel like Red Pacific is going to be the much more impressive team. And I'm not saying that to try to downplay it or anything like that, but I was just reading the tea leaves of this monster that Red Pacific had become at the start of Sunday and all the way up into, well, when they went to grand finals and just completely curb stomped everything. Where did they go? 18, 19, and 1 on Sunday. The best record any team has ever done on Sunday in the top 32 era that we're now in now. Just really impressive stuff. I didn't think Red Pacific was going to be that good. I put them in my top 10. I think I put them at number 7. I didn't think they were going to be that good on Sunday, though. I felt like Salad Operation was going to get them. Salad Operation seemed to be this team coming out of nowhere, like this month's version of the monster that was going to upend everybody. Salad Operation tripped up in round 1 to a team that just got the better of them. I thought Blaze was another team. They were my number 1 team, and they looked like they were going to be the team that was going to win the tournament, up 2-0 on Just Squidding until Just Squidding said, nah, we're going to pull off some magic there. I wonder how that set went. I didn't see that set. It wasn't on stream. But I wonder if that was even more epic than their win they had against Queen Jelly. Oh, my goodness. But those two couldn't survive the gauntlet. Red Pacific did. And more to come. There's more to come later. We'll be continuing to talk about Red Pacific, and there's several teams I said I owed an apology to. We'll get to them when we go through the Saturday and Sunday segment and get into alpha brackets, because a lot of teams really popped off. But I do have some breaking news. Something historic happened. A new record that may never be broken was achieved yesterday by Red Pacific. To my knowledge, for the longest time, I held the record for being the oldest player to win Low Ink. At the age that I won Low Ink was 29 years, and I believe 29 years and 9 months. That's how old I was when I won Low Ink. And to my knowledge, nobody has come even close to being that old and to win Low Ink. Well, Red Pacific, as they DM'd me last night, I found out, that record has been absolutely shattered. We've had our first player in their 30s to win Low Ink. Joey being 31 years old. 31-year-old is winning Low Ink. If you guys are in chat being 13, 14, 15 years old, you're excited to get your middle school diploma, there's literally somebody twice your age beating the absolute dog snot out of you in Low Ink. How does that feel? just so you know, according to Google, your reflexes start declining at age 22. That's not to say like your reaction time is, like really disoriented or anything. But when you talk about a competitive game, just like one frame faster than another one could be a huge difference. Not for Red Pacific. Not for old Joey. How about that? And now I've lost my only relevancy. I'm now just another schmuck that's won a low-level tournament. More apologies and things to come. Plenty of things that I was wrong about, and then seems to be the main reason you guys are here. I guess I should get the highlighted messages, although I feel like some got buried because I can't scroll all the way up. You got to spend time with me, Pop Gun. Isn't that good enough, says Glitch Cactus. Sure, says Pop Gun. X-Man, can't wait for the live just squidding apology. Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. We got to go through the weekly recap. Mr. Egg 73. Loink is consistently more challenging than paddling, in my opinion. The format of the tournament, yes. The teams, no. The tougher teams play in paddling, obviously, but I think you get the point that I'm going with here. Fun fact, Queen Jelly just got the first kill in every game of that set. Did they? That doesn't surprise me. I mean, I guess first kill doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot, but that doesn't really surprise me. X-Man, but it wasn't a trick. Just squidding won the set, and they are close in skill level. Yeah, I mean, they won the set. I was just saying, looking over the course of the 5 games, if I had to tell you who I thought was the better team, it was Queen Jelly. But obviously, just squidding. I guess they just wanted it more, as they say. X-Man again. Multivac was 46 when he won, by the way. Really? Really? Huh. What team was Multivac on? I want to double check that. 46! My goodness. Perfect. I can still get the record for myself, says Patom J. Now, I did say to my knowledge. So I was at AK Ping. Really? 46? My goodness. 46 is not old. 46 is not way too old. Can't get Loink banned for the next 12 years so I can beat the record. Well, it sounds like 46 is the actual record there. So there we go. Not that I'm like looking to dox anybody's age. Like, apologies to Multivac if you didn't want that to be a thing that was known out there. This was just something that Red Pacific reached out to me with some information. I do not know. Do not send me a photo of people. Don't do that. That is cringe. Do not do that. Let's move to the weekly recap before people start doxing other people on the internet who don't consent to that. Hit it. SOS number 136 was won by 4-Shooter Comp. Pony Z Strikes, but washed, took second place. Albert Fan Club rounds out your top 3. I just realized this new format of SOS is built for 128 teams. There's no way that's going to happen. If any SOS between now and the start of Low Tide City reaches 128 teams, I will have a giant pizza party at Low Tide City. How about that? I'll buy a whole bunch of pizzas for everyone at the fire pit. If any point between now and the start of Low Tide City, SOS gets 128 teams in one tournament. Hammerhead was won by Sea Bunny Plush. Mako Bracket was won by Overtime. And Lantern was won by Sekis Naga. Paddling Pool announced this weekend that they're starting this week. They will have officially moved off of Challenge, thank God, and they'll be running their tournaments on Sindao.Inc. I'm pointing this out here because I've always said the reason I don't talk about Paddling Pool and Triton Cup is because they grew their tournaments on Challenge, and it is damn near impossible to figure out who or what played for what team in those tournaments. Sindao.Inc. will literally smack you in the face with the rosters when you look at it. So I will be discussing Paddling Pool in the weekly recap going forward now that they're on a website that doesn't totally flow. Proving Grounds number 28 was won by Waddle D. Essence took second place, and Catnip is in third. Shout out to JPEG for covering the stream for us, and it was an absolute fun time all around. We are cooking up some stuff for Proving Grounds in the future events. This was the last version of this Proving Grounds that you are going to see. The next one and everyone after it is going to be insanely better. We'll be announcing that stuff coming out soon. Mode Cup Light number 3 took place on Saturday. It was won by a team from Japan. I severely apologize, but all the players in the team name are in Japanese text, and I can't read that. So it was a team from Japan that played and won Mode Cup number 3 Splat Zone position. AWP, which was a pickup made of Keo, Jared, Gray, and Volti, finished in second place. And third place goes out to a team called For All My Dogs. Woof woof. This was a Splat Zones only single elimination tournament, and Moonlight signed up and didn't win a single game in it because they're garbage. In the NFL that took place this past weekend, the Lions won over the Buccaneers, the Ravens beat the Texans, 49ers beat the Packers, and the Chiefs beat the Bills. The kick was wide right. And that was your weekly recap. Sponsored by Kit Kat Bars. So there were 2 Kit Kat teams playing in this low ink. I believe one team was just called Kit Kat. The other one was known as Eat Kit Kat. Hashtag Eat Kit Kat. They were in the same Swiss group, and we as low ink staff watched every single match that those 2 Kit Kat teams played in because we wanted them to get matched up against each other so that we would put it on stream and have a fun little Kit Kat stream because it's low ink on Saturday. How much fun would that be? So yes, we're sitting in here in between battling people leaving emotes and help desks, watching both Kit Kat teams and be like, yes, they won. Just like the other one. They got the same record. They could get matched up against each other. And they never did. They never played each other. Everything sucks. The world is horrible. Kit Kats can't even play Kit Kats. So instead, they get to be the official sponsor of today's segment of the weekly recap. It's the little things. It's the little things that get us through the tournament. Can you send as EU folks a pizza to share? No, you got to be at Low Tide City. Dude's going to be there. What's your excuse? Riley Rooster. Kit Kat figured that out the night before. We were waiting for it too. The Kit Kat team should sign up for an IPL versus. I don't know if JPEG will be looking for that, but you know, it doesn't hurt to DM. Somebody spammed JPEG's DMs last night trying to get on IPL versus, and he was like, "Bruh, I'm playing." What was he playing? Minecraft. So it was like, just stop. I'm playing Minecraft right now. Oh boy. Dude, you get that YouTube money, he can afford to go. You can't? What? Well, what do you do for a living? I'm sure there's like some sort of giveaway or something you could win. Like stowaway on an airplane. Like there's many different ways other than legally buying your way into Low Tide City to get there if you really wanted free pizza. Let's talk about Willow Ink. Let's start wrapping this sucker up. My winners from the Saturday stage, including the team that I feel like had the absolute best Saturday of them all. First off, we're going to start this with a shout out to Mammoth Meatball, who went 5-1 on Saturday, getting key wins over the Aura Warriors, No Name, Squid Sushi, second try as well. This was a Marine Melody pickup. No, Marine Melody was not the only players that made up this pickup, but when you got 3 players with that MM logo in there, that's what I'm going to recognize you as. Mammoth Meatball and Marine Melody pickup going 5-1 on Saturday. Squid Sushi. It's pretty yummy sounding. Went 4-2, getting key wins over Honor Bound, Star Fishers, Red Velvet Sea, and No Name. Squid Sushi played in From the Ink Up number 46. They went 2-2 in that tournament before dropping, playing all the way through in this low ink and going 4-2 in it. Nicely done. The Rogueport Rascals, not the Rougeport Rascals, the Rogueport Rascals went 6-0 on Saturday, getting key wins over Solar Sixfold, Calamity Forge Neo, Starlight, Second Try, Project Mila, and Scarlet Inc. Boy, howdy, is this team going to be excited when the 1,000-Year Door Paper Mario remake is going to be coming out? Because that's where I'm assuming the Rogueport name is actually coming from. But until then, they're just going to keep beating up on people on Low Ink Saturday. They went 6-0 last week. Speaking of 6-0, how about Salad Operation coming out of nowhere and getting key wins over Squid Life Crisis, the Rocket Launcher Game, Distortion, Peace Strikers, Trip L, which is what I'm going to be calling that triple waffle team from now on, Trip L, and Modern Butterflies. I am assuming this is a strong pickup, and at some points on Sunday looked like this was going to be the team that was going to host up the trophy at the end of the tournament. They didn't. They got knocked off in round one. That doesn't diminish the fact that they had a really strong Saturday as well. Octoplasm. Hey, they showed up in my notes after all. They went 4-2 in this tournament on Saturday, getting key wins over Truck and Car, Ocean's Delight, Throwing is Fine, and Royal Succulents. Octoplasm went 3-3 in November, the latter edition of Low Ink. This time around, they went 4-2 in a actual big boy Low Ink, qualifying for top 32. The Peace Strikers went 4-2 in this tournament, getting key wins under Undersea Spectacle, Kiwi Ice Cream, The Night Logic, and Retro Radio. Formerly members of Blitz Wave B, combine that team with 3 new players, and all of a sudden you got the Peace Strikers giving anything but peace when they're striking the fear into their opponents on Saturday. Cherry Bomb went 5-1 in this Saturday stage of Low Ink, getting key wins over the Inksecutioners, MTU Squid Squad, Kitty Parfait, Almond Nuts, those two go together pretty well, and Double Down. I believe Cherry Bomb was a late sign-up, and I think we had to give them, I think we allowed them to get a sub because we had to kick one of their players after registration. And whoever sub that they got from the sub-channel really helped them out as they went 5-1 and was technically the number 1 seed in Alpha Bracket. Which, by the way, again, this was pointed out a lot. Just because you're the number 1 seed in Alpha Bracket doesn't mean we think you're the number 1 team. That's just like where the slot that based on your record out of the top 32, that's where you end up. So don't read too much into that. It's really hard to do the seeding from all of that stuff. They were technically number 1 seed. You can't take that away from them. The Criminals went 4-2 in this tournament, getting key wins over Chroma, Inked Under, Abyss Inc., and Eat Kit Kat. The Criminals went 3-3 the last time that they played in Low Ink. This time around going 4-2. And if you're wondering if the names do match the thing, in fact it does. There's one player called www.x.com, which is pretty criminal in its own right, and there's a player called Tax Fraud on this team as well. So the Criminals, and their logo is the get out of jail free card from Monopoly. They're continuing to improve, I guess, as they're running from the law. Comical Klutz went 4-2 in this tournament, getting Q wins over Double Down, Vector Cry, Abyss Inc., Nova Nightshade as well. This is a team made up of former players of Galaxy Raiders / Anarchy Raiders who were last seen playing in tournaments in June of last year. This time around, making the Comical Klutz, all with K's, going 4-2 in this tournament. Manta Boat Fan Club. Man, a lot of teams we've never really seen, or / pickups that went 6-0 on Saturday. Manta Boat Fan Club went 6-0 on Saturday as well, getting key wins over Arts and Crafts, Floral Reef, Eternal Eclipsia, Just Squidding, and Squid EST. I didn't know that Manta Maria needed a fan club. It's a mid map. It's a tower control map you can put in map pools that people won't complain about. That's really difficult to do. So I didn't know they needed a fan club, but they repped Manta Boat really well, going 6-0, at least on Saturday. Eternal Eclipsa. I believe I always call these guys Eclipsia, and I just make up letters, but we're going to read it like an actual person this time around. Eternal Eclipsa. They went 4-2 in this tournament, getting key wins over Drinking Your Milkshake, Joe Cephalopod, Joe Starfish, which I completely forgot was in this tournament, Yogurt Parfait, 69 Soupe as well. They went 4-2 2 months in a row. That is consistency coming out from Eternal Eclipsa, as I'm getting consistently right at saying their name correctly. I think they make fun of me in their team Twitter bio with how I completely butchered their name. It'd be like that. Ribbity Rip, a Riptide went 5-1 in this tournament, getting key wins over Krill Streak, Unorthodox, or 69 Soupe, and Moonshine. Riptide was an LSL team last that I checked, and then, well, they might not be anymore after going 5-1 on Saturday. Not the tournament, the team Riptide. But all those teams I mentioned all fail in comparison to the absolute undisputed best winner from Saturday. Give me the Origami Dragons yet again, going 5-1 on Saturday, getting key wins over Storm Shards, Lychee Jelly, Dice of Destiny, The Wagon, and RNG. Hell yeah, Origami Dragons. Top 32 easy clap. I don't think we'll look at what they did in top 32, but it doesn't matter. Origami Dragons continuing to make their step up. They're going to win Lowing by the end of this year. Clip it. It's a long year. We got like 11 more Lowings to go, so who knows? The names Vurex says, yes, we did LeMayo. Okay. About Eternal Eclipsa. Fair enough. Mr. Egg, thank you for mentioning Abyss Inc. as results twice, Mr. Popgun. We are very good. I'm talking about you guys a little bit later, actually, too. I think you meant Hoist. That's exactly what I said. Yippee, says Napple Ned. Captain will be proud we got mentioned and have the correct spelling this time. Oh, gosh. I don't even know what you're talking about. But I'm glad that spelling was correct there. Lemon number 78,903 said, yeah, Harshy may have spammed JPEG while he was playing Minecraft. Just maybe. Just maybe. Trying to get that run back, but not getting it. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Let's look at the brackets and call it a day. What you're looking at here is me moving the camera because I didn't freaking lock it. Dag, burn it. Maybe I should take up Brush on his offer to have him fix my overlays. Hold on. This might not be perfectly in the box. It's going to work out for today. Hit that lock button, Popgun. There we go. And let's click this other screen that has the actual thing on it. No, we don't need ad blocker. Thank you. All right, so let's take a look at Epsilon bracket, Delta, Gamma, Beta, Alpha, and we'll call it a day. In Epsilon bracket here, the four teams I want to talk about are coincidentally the four teams that finished down here at the bottom. First off, Ocean Delight. We love it when teams make losers bracket runs. Ocean Delight and Waterbound did just that. Both of them going all the way through all of these teams. Shout out to Sheer Cold for playing through the whole weekend as well. Ink Vaders I see here. Always love seeing Ink Vaders play in these tournaments. But Honor Bound and Ocean Delight are the two teams that we do want to focus on. I don't know if I talked about these two teams in the past, but Honor Bound did go 4-2 back in October. We had a lot of teams that didn't play since October that are playing again here. Ocean's Delight, the last time they played was in December, and they went 3-3, which I don't think would have been good enough to qualify for Delta bracket in that tournament. Don't quote me on that. But they played through here, and Ocean's Delight makes it all the way to third place. What a delight it is for the Ocean, whatever ocean that they're representing there, to met third place in a very rare Epsilon bracket. We always like it whenever we have this one. The top two teams in this bracket, though, if you're Inkception, and did they lose a single game? No, they did not. I mean, Inkception was I put them in my honorable mention as a top 32 alpha bracket contender. I think they did make alpha bracket last month, and I said I wanted to see them do it again. Just a bad Saturday, obviously. But unfortunate for everybody else in this Epsilon bracket because they just beat the snot out of everyone, clearly. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, and 0. I think you made your point, Inkception. Is this the first time Inkception has won a bracket, too? I feel like it is, even though it's not the best they've done in a low ink. It's good to see they took care of business on Sunday. For Abyss Inc., though, the last time we saw this team play in low ink, I believe was the ladder tournament where they went 3-2 in November. Would not have been anywhere near good enough to make the top cut of that bracket. But this time around in Epsilon, you take out the Inkception squad, which is a bit of an outlier. Abyss Inc. is kind of a bit of an outlier as well. Did they 3-0 everybody? Ocean's Delight took one game off of them. So Abyss Inc. kind of in that same category of, man, these two teams just heads and shoulders above everybody else in the Epsilon bracket. It just be like that. The bottom brackets usually just kind of, when you have this many teams. I will give credit, though, to Inkception for playing through this one. Sometimes you've seen teams that have made alpha bracket. Well, I'm in Epsilon. I'm not going to play all the way through. I give them credit for that. I still feel like there's something to gain in tournaments by playing in the lower brackets, especially in the lower level tournaments. Let's take a look. What's next? Delta? Is that how that works? Full screen. Zooming up. First off, in Delta bracket, I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite teams, the Day Old Sushi Squad. Now, I think we just got confirmed a little bit before that there was somebody in their late 40s that has won low ink before. That person would fit right in with Day Old Sushi. If you're not familiar with Day Old Sushi, they hold the record for the most Ludi seasons played as a team. I believe they are tied with I wouldn't say, I think they were tied with Lost Inklings at some point, but I think Day Old Sushi is the oldest Ludi team, not in age, but as far as how many Ludis they've played in. But if you're not familiar with Day Old Sushi, it is a casual clan that has a competitive team. The requirement to be a part of Day Old Sushi, you have to be at least 25 years old to even be allowed into the server. And 25 is on the younger side of the people that are in that server from what I've seen. So it's good to see this team play still competitively. Obviously, Sigurd is not a part of this team. Sigurd's been banned from low ink. But Day Old Sushi doing pretty good here in Delta bracket. Modern Butterfly is the team that finished in third place. Modern Butterfly, what does that mean? Modern as compared to prehistoric butterflies? Like what do modern butterflies have that ancient butterflies or the butterflies of the past era don't? Not quite sure, but the modern version of these butterflies are pretty doggone good, making the losers bracket, they didn't go all the way, but from round 2 all the way up to the round 6 losers finals. Nicely done, Modern Butterflies. Representing the current version of Butterflies, apparently. Grand finals of this one is a curious case. If you recall in the preview, I talked about 69 Supe because they were the team that had the Respawn Punisher Hydra Nautilus comp. And I talked about how that was something my team used to run, not because we think it's good, but just because that's what our players were best at. So let's just run it and see what happens. So they got third place in Little Squid League, now taking on a team that won the Little Squid League several months ago in Zest Fest, and a team that some people are looking at as consistent alpha bracket contenders. Seem to be right somewhat with each other with the score alone. Now, I just said that not all game fives mean the teams are with each other, but you're still coming close to knocking off a LSL champion. And they almost beat an LSL champion back in LSL because they lost in the game 5 to the team that ended up winning the whole thing. 69 Supe. Don't just think of them as a team that got third place in LSL. They're clearly a little bit better than that. Zestfest, obviously, pretty good as well. I'm glad to see Zestfest continuing to play and grow and keep grinding. I think they've won other brackets in Low Inc in the past as well. Don't quote me on that. But they have won a Little Squid League. They get to hoist another trophy of some sort as they're climbing their way up the low level tier list there. Gamma bracket. The two teams we want to talk about here is we talk about more than two, but I do want to give a shout out to Almond Nuts. Man, losers bracket was just dominated by a handful of teams this entire way. That's just drop out a winners bracket, and then you just got this shark this waiting to chomp you the bits and spit you back out into the being able to watch the stream on Sunday. Almond Nuts, winning 4 games in the losers bracket before not Howdy Hat Pirates knocked them out. Almond Nuts was we had them as like a team that was potential to make top 32. I can't recall off the top of my head how good they've done in the past, but I think they have made alpha bracket before. And as you look at the teams in this alpha or in this gamma bracket, you got some really strong teams across the board here, or some strong pickups that we'll get into in a second. But gamma's usually always extremely difficult to actually win as well, just from the monsters that kind of slink into it. The Wagon finished up in third place in this tournament, getting a lot of good wins along the way, actually sending the Not Howdy Hat Pirates down into losers brackets in a game 5 before they got revenge on them earlier. We didn't really know how good the Wagon was going to be. I think some of these players have played in open tournaments, and I think this was their first time playing in Low Inc. We didn't really know how good they were actually going to fare. I think third place in Gamma bracket is pretty solid, considering. Cephalopod Helvetia, the team that finished, that technically won winners bracket but got knocked out and took second place. What do I have to say about Cephalopod Helvetia? Well, they went 3-3 in December, which should not have been good enough to qualify for Delta bracket. This time around, winning winners of Gamma and pushing yourself all the way to second place of Gamma bracket. So nicely done to Cephalopod Helvetia. Another cephalopod team. Congratulations to them. However, they get second place. The team that won this one, the Not Howdy Hat Pirates. You can't trick me. This really is the Howdy Hat Pirates. You can't just put a knot in there and think it's going to be something other than that. But the Not Howdy Hat Pirates, they get the credit for A, making this long losers run, and B, getting revenge against the team that knocked them down, and C, beating the team that, getting 6-2 versus the team that was in there. Not Howdy Hat fell, or just regular Howdy Hat fell to beta last month, this time around winning Gamma. And I haven't really done a deep dive yet as to what does winning Gamma mean. I used to point out how winning beta was very big for you the next month. I don't really know what it means to win Gamma, because I guess I just don't really pay attention to Gamma after we go through this, after I just kind of do this dive in here. But maybe we can remember to keep an eye on Howdy Hat Pirates to see how they do with this Gamma bracket win now underneath their belt. Beta bracket, everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite bracket. Nobody plays in beta bracket disgruntled that they didn't make alpha bracket and they didn't get it done in top 32. Ominous, the team that finished in second place, they've won beta before. And man, I don't really have anything else to say about these guys. I mean, we talk about them pretty much every single month because they're always a contender. I would like them to win something. I guess they did technically win beta bracket, but the second place in Minnow Cup and now second place in beta yet again. But it looks like, I mean, they played the 6-0 Rogueport team. They swept the tough Mammoth Meatball team that ended up finishing solid third place over the Manta Boat Fan Club. So a good run through beta here, but I don't know. I just want to see them. I just want to see them get to the point to where I'm actually commentating them in the alpha bracket because we all know they're that good. Just another example of how difficult it is to get through lowing. The team that won this tournament was Skilly Shoes. This is basically that hammer team with the I believe they're from Germany. Don't quote me on that. But there's always some sort of pickup that has a name that I can never pronounce, and it's usually just the same players. This time around, this team didn't make alpha bracket, but they made beta and, well, took care of business in beta bracket. So these are strong, consistent, lowing players, but they have high hopes of winning this tournament someday. We'll see what this beta win does for them next month. Alpha bracket. And if you came here for an apology, this is where we're going to start dishing them out. First off, a heartfelt apology from me goes out directly to the Black Squid Ink Burger. I didn't talk about this team at all, and they got a very nice win over Cherry Bomb 3-1 before Just Squidding took care of business against them. But Black Squid Ink Burger finished in the top 8, and I had nothing, absolutely nothing to say about them. I don't owe an apology to this team, even though I believe they said on Twitter that I was supposed to. I don't know how to pronounce this word, and I forgot to Google how to do it. Is it Perrier? Is it Pariheli? I just want to remind you guys, I got a Kentucky education. They didn't really teach. Perry Healy. Okay, so I'll remember them next time. 100% pick pig, thank you. Like Perihelion? I don't know what that is either, but fair enough. They did good. They beat Squid Roll-Ups. Queen Jelly got them out, though. Heartfelt apology to Elegant Diamond. I've talked about Elegant Diamond in the past. I no way thought they would be a contender to make top 4 of this tournament, and if they didn't DC in game 1, you could very well make the argument they would be the top 4. But if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Instead, they did DC in game 1, and bottom feeders took care of business against them in game 5. That doesn't diminish the fact that they knocked off the team that I thought was going to be the actual monster. Salad Operation was undefeated going into this match. Elegant Diamond handed them their first loss. Just so happens it's in the single elimination round in a game 5. Man, that's tough. This is a tough-ass tournament. Salad Operation, they were too young. It was before their time. Elegant Diamond did them in. I'm sorry, Elegant Diamond. Bottom feeders. I don't know if I owe them an apology or not. I mean, clearly I missed them, and they finished 4th place overall here. But I think their roster changed a little bit from the last time we saw bottom feeders. They've added some new players. Obviously, got really good. Was able to survive this set somehow. Almost got reverse swept until they didn't. So bottom feeders, I'll give, you know what? I'm in a humble mood. I'll give you guys an apology. But nobody, not even Red Pacific, deserves a bigger apology from me than Just Squidding. I counted them out in the pre-show, or in my predictions, because they kept dropping in low ink and I didn't know how good they actually were. Well, they played all the way through this time. I counted them out when Blaze had them down 2-0 and Just Squidding took care of business against them. I counted them out when Queen Jelly appeared to be the better team and had them dead to rights in that game 5. And then they pulled this absolute, I'm pretty sure one of their players is going to hell because they sold their soul to the devil to make sure that they actually won that one. So nicely done to just squidding. I'm sorry. I let you down. Or I didn't let you down. I didn't believe in you. And, well, I still didn't believe in you when you played Red Pacific because, well, Red Pacific was just beating up everybody. Absolutely beating up everybody. I missed the team. What team are you saying I'm missing? Well, while you guys are figuring that out, the one team I am Octoplasm, they're right there. They got swept by Red Pacific. What do you want me to say about them? I already gave them credit earlier. Well, I guess everybody got swept by Red Pacific. Speaking of which, do I owe Red Pacific? Oh, don't play the div card. You guys know better than to play the div card here, especially, 4 months after divs came out. You can't play that card here. Don't even try that. Red Pacific, though. I know you guys are listening, either live or the VOD. I do not owe you an apology, Red Pacific. You guys played as Red Project last month. Well, 3 of the players on Red Project make up this Red Pacific team. That team did not win a single doggone game on Sunday. Top 32, beta bracket, nothing. You added a new player, Vizzy, who is clearly a good player, from a team called Shine, which we knew was a good team as well. However, Shine went 3-3 in the December low ink. So yes, I thought despite that, Red Pacific was going to be good, which is why I put them at number 7 in my top 10 list. They were in my top 10 list. But you can't sit here and tell me that Red Pacific deserves an apology for the performance that 4 of their 5 players put in the last low ink. I'm not giving it. I mean, obviously I was wrong. I'll admit that I was wrong because I believed in Blaze more than them. But I'm not giving out an apology for the Red Pacific. I will, however, give out an apology for the fact that I kept referring to them as Red Specific. And I feel like I was even calling them Red Specific back when Red Pacific was playing with Gus in low ink about a year ago or a year and a half ago. So for that, I apologize. But here's my real question with Red Pacific. These guys are clearly good. These guys were the best team. They weren't just the team that survived. They were clearly the best team from Sunday over the course of the entire weekend. Are they going to be a real thing, though? Did they come back just for this low ink, or can we see Red Pacific start to move on forward? They've proven they're clearly ready for the next step, like life after low ink. They're ready for it. I hope we do see them in some SOS or a Proving Ground or a paddling pool or whatever, because they were really good. And it would be a shame if this was just a one-off low ink thing and we didn't get to see them grow like we have seen a lot of other teams. We just haven't had teams win low ink and then move on and grow as of late. I would like to see more of that. Red Pacific has the DNA to do it, so I hope that is a goal of theirs. And if not, hey, welcome to the High Ink Club. Maybe we'll bring High Ink back again. I don't know. Maybe not. Depends on how we feel. All right. What is the one team I definitely missed? You guys are saying it's Octoplasm. I refuse to apologize to Octoplasm. Although I probably might put him in top 10 next month. Criminal? Absolutely not criminal. Red Pacific will keep playing in open. You guys are playing at Genesis, really? I haven't looked at Genesis. I'll be doing a preview of Genesis at some point, but I'm glad you guys are going to be going to play with that. I'll be keeping an eye on. I'll be watching Genesis from afar. So that's cool. That is really cool to hear. I'm glad. I like it when former low ink teams go in and play at LAN. So that's really cool. We're dead now. Octoplasm disbanded today, bro. Is that my fault? Is it me? That's all right. Death comes for us all anyways. All right. With that being said, the past 5 days, no, the past 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, today, I've ran a proving grounds, a 2-day low ink, a help desk that we need to figure out how to we need to just lock help desk when we're not doing the tournament, honestly. Like, I don't need to be answering your guys' questions at 2 in the morning. In 2 podcast episodes, I'm done. I'm taking the rest of the week off, and I'm going to play Golden Sun. That came out on the GBA Online. Until then, though, if you would like to be a part of the Popcast in any way, you send me some information about your team. If you want to gripe at me about the fact that I didn't give your team an apology because you don't deserve it, darn you, feel free to reach out. My socials below. Twitter, Mr._Popgun. Blue Sky at Popgun. If you want to, I got a bunch of Blue Sky codes. And if you just DM me, say, hey, give me a Blue Sky code, I'll give you one. Blue Sky, there's a lot of Splatoon conversations on there. It's a great, it's like Twitter, except there's no stupid bots and there's no clout chasing. There's no private quote retweeting, and it's just people talking about the game and having actual conversations. If you DM me and you say, hey, I want a code, I got like tons of those things. So feel free to have one of them. Let's go to Stormy. Because Persistence has been popping off lately, and they seem to be taking life pretty seriously. I would not want to play Persistence right now. Get vaccinated, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your life. See you Monday. We'll talk about something Monday.